Good afternoon, guys. It's Workin bringing you a quick update on Bitcoin. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at Bitcoin to the US dollar. This is the 4-hour chart on Coinbase. And last time we spoke, guys, Bitcoin was operating right inside this wedge. I think we were waiting for that breakout, guys. Told you to expect it in the next, what did I say, 24 to 48 hours, I believe I said. And of course, I believe within 8 hours or so of making that video, we had this beautiful breakout here and just perfectly hit our upper targets. Now, to be fair, I don't ever want to be one of those guys that says one thing and then, when something else happens, they claim they were just a genius. That's not. To be fair, I did tell you that if we did break up, it was going to, at the minimum, come up here to about 9,600, and I told you that a likely target was going to be somewhere between 97 and 9,800. Of course, we did come up there. We hit that 97 to 9,800 target almost perfectly, and then it just continued back up in the last 8 hours, continuing back up, almost threatening to test that $10,000 range. And I don't think it's going to perfectly hit $10,000. I think that we're either going to top out very close to where we're at. Now, we may come up a couple more dollars here and test this 9,950 top. This is the area. If I zoom out here to the weekly chart, guys, I've been pointing this out to you guys for the last, I'm not sure how long, many weeks now, pointing out this this top, which was this prior swing high that we still had yet to take out. By the way, guys, if you guys hear a lawnmower in the background, I do apologize. Lawn guys out there doing our lawn, and yeah, maybe I'll go tell him to shut up for a little bit. No, not really. That was mean. Just kidding. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Michael, forgive me for that. All right. So looking at this prior swing high, this was the last area that we had not taken out yet. And that sits right at 9,950. And it does look like Bitcoin, I think one of two things is going to happen here. And I know I've said this numerous times, but and I know some of the other people that tend to I tend to. Anyway, as I pointed out yesterday, it's a little frustrating when you say one thing, guys, and then these people with just literally tens of thousands of followers start repeating what you just said the day before. Call it coincidence, but when it happens over and over and over again, it gets a little bit frustrating. So I know that you know who it is. I'm not going to call you out, but yeah, man. I mean, just come up with your own content. All right, I'm going to leave it there. All right, so I pointed this out numerous times. I said one of two things is going to happen. I think we're going to likely come up and hit this top right at $9,950, or just shy of that, to be fair, right at 97, 9,800, somewhere in there. Or we're going to blow through $10,000, and then the next top, the next area of possible resistance I see is sitting right here at about 10,400, which I had marked off yesterday. But more likely, I think if we decisively break above 10,000, I think a more likely scenario, in fact, let me just pull all the way out here. As I pointed out yesterday, guys, I think a more likely scenario, if I go swing high of this entire structure all the way down to our swing low of about 3150. Let me get right on the notch there. We can see what? We can see that we just broke through the 382. We were finding resistance there, guys. That was the top of that ascending wedge. As you guys know, I pointed this out numerous times. And of course, I told you the next area, the next fib level, the next major fib level was going to be the 50, which sits right there at about 11,500. So I do think if we get a decisive break above 10, yeah, I don't think it's just gonna shoot up like a rocket to 11.5. I think it'll probably pause somewhere around 10.4, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it come up, hit around 10.4, 10.5, come back down for a retest, somewhere around 10,000, maybe even wicking below 10,000, back to that 99, 99.50, and then coming back up and hitting that 11.5. There's just not a lot of resistance between 10,000 and 11.50. Or excuse me, 11.5. There's just not much at all. So again, I know I pointed this out, but I wanted to go ahead and reiterate that now that we have, in fact, broken to the upside here. I think that is a more and more likely scenario if we do take out this $9,950 prior swing high that was set back in April of 2018. Checking volume, guys. Volume, just as you would expect with that breakout, guys, as we were discussing, volume was sitting basically stable for about 4 days, waiting for that move, waiting for Bitcoin to make a decision on which direction it was going. As soon as it broke out to the upside, we had about a 3.5 billion uptick in volume, daily volume yesterday, and we're sitting at about 20.6 billion today. So we are up about 5 billion in daily volume over the course of the last 24 hours or so. So, again, that is a bullish sign that does tell you that that hypothesis that people were sitting on the side is in fact true. We have a lot of people that are sitting now, more than likely, waiting to see if Bitcoin can take out $10,000. And looking back at this chart, guys, I mean, this weekly chart is just bullish as hell. Let's come back and let's see. Look, shorts are starting to stack. Now, again, that does suggest. Now, somebody pointed this out. Somebody pointed out that, yeah, even though this is starting to show short stacking in relation to longs, the actual naked shorts is not necessarily the same as what we're seeing on the chart here, and that is absolutely 100% true, and that is a great point. That being said, you also have to consider that most people are not going to check that. Most people are just going to look at the basic longs to shorts. They're going to see that shorts are stacked, and I do believe that shorts now are outpacing longs on both. But most people are not going to check that. So most people are going to see that shorts are just stacking up here in a straight line. Longs also starting to stack here with that breakout here, guys. So again, you would kind of expect that. But prior to long stacking here, I do believe that more than likely people were saying, okay, that looks like a setup for a short squeeze. And of course, you saw price just follow right along with that, guys. Because remember, it's not so much, it's more what people believe. I mean, this market is completely emotionally driven, guys. I mean, it just is. Now, there are obviously professional traders that can take emotion right out of it, guys. I'd like to think that I can do that, and oftentimes I can. Sometimes I can't. I'm only human. But my point is, overall, the majority of volume in a market is going to be run on emotion. So when you see something like that, you can bet that very likely price is going to jump up there, at least temporarily, and try to at least liquidate what they perceive are liquidatable shorts. All right, checking the daily, guys. Daily pushing the top of the Bollinger Bands there, guys. Nothing but bullish there. The 8 exponential widening the gap between the 21 and the 50, widening the gap between the 21, the 55 exponential widening the gap between the 21. So all of this, guys, this is just nothing but bullish. Let's go ahead and check the weekly. Again, I mean, look at this chart, man. It is just wow. Just wow. Wow. I mean, I have to say, this has just been so impressive. Anybody that says they saw this coming, guys, yes, we all saw a rise coming. Not all of us saw a rise coming, but, this was, I thought this was a very real possibility back here on May the 27th when we put in this doji candle here, guys. I really did think that this was going to be that 20, I really did think there was a good shot that we were coming down on that 20 or that 35, 45% correction. And what did we correct there? About 25%, 20, 25%? Let's see. 18%. So, I mean, this has just been incredibly bullish. So looking on the weekly chart, we're well above the 8 exponential. Obviously, we can see the 21 and the 8 exponential again widening there. Also, we're starting to see a widening between the 55 and the 21 on the weekly. Nothing but bullish here, guys. I mean, there's just no other way to look at this. Pulling out on the monthly, pointed this out yesterday, guys. Pointed out again because I do think it's relevant. If we get this monthly candle closing above 8.5, and what do we have? About 10 days left in the month? How many days are in the month of June? 30 days, that's September, April, June. Yeah, so 30 days. So 9 days left in the month. Yes, I do still say that little song in my head to remember how many days are left in the month. You can make fun of me later. But yeah, there's no question. If this does close above 8,500, guys, that is, in my opinion, extremely bullish. That was the top back here in July 1 of 18. That was resistance back here in May, and resistance turned into support here in June. So that is extremely bullish. If we can close above 85, which again, I would say probability probably is leaning in favor of that. But looking at the monthly chart, guys, it does kind of show us why I was pointing out that area of potential resistance. If we can break above 10,000, that area of potential resistance right around that 10,400 range. If we come over here and we look at the monthly, we can see right here we had this nice little order block that was created January, February, March of 2018. So there's a nice little order block right here. What was support turned into resistance on the way back down in March. So on the way back up, you can expect it to very likely act as resistance again. Hopefully we can clear through it there. But again, I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin temporarily pause right there around 10.3, 10.4 temporarily as it's on its way up to that 11.4. If we zoom out here to the weekly, you can see that kind of goes away. Not so much resistance there, and you can see on the weekly, guys, then it does shoot right up there to about our 11.4, 11.5 that we pointed out, and that's going to be that 50 fib level that we pointed out. And we can also see on the weekly that was an area of support back here in January of 18, which turned into resistance in February, March of 18. So again, a very, very relevant area at that $11,400 zone if we can clear that 10,000, and that is a big if. We are not there yet, guys. Things do look bullish. Things do look like it may want to take a shot, but it has not been cleared yet. So just, again, don't get too greedy. I put out a tweet yesterday, guys. Don't get too greedy. Increase your stop losses. I would even consider taking some profits off the board here, guys. Yes, it could continue up. There's no question about it, but eventually, at some point, and I believe that point is going to be somewhere between now and 11,400, 11,500, that I think we're going to get that larger 35 to 45% correction. All right, zooming all the way out on the monthly here, guys, and putting on log scale. Kind of zoom out so you guys can see a little bit better. I know I've pointed this out quite a few times in the past, but it's been a little while since I last pointed it out. So I just want to get kind of a more macro view. I do believe that we are coming up on this trend line here. Again, I know I've pointed this out numerous times. This trend line here, and this is again on log scale. This has been acted as an area of support, basically from September 2012 all the way until we broke down through 6,000 on November of 2018. And then what is support often acts as resistance on the way back up. So if I zoom in here, guys, what happened on the way back up? Just so happens that's exactly where we did find resistance in the month of May. It's exactly where we are finding resistance right now in the month of June. I'm pointing this out because, yes, could this be a top? Could we be topping out here and things turn around here? Yeah, that's a possibility. We could wick above this briefly and then come right back down. It's a real possibility. We're long overdue for a correction. So this is why I say don't get greedy. But this is also why I point out, if we do clear this zone, so that would be a break above 10,000 basically within this month. If we do, obviously, if it goes into next month, that'll change things just a little bit, as this thing is an ascending resistance line now. But in this month, if we do clear 10,000, guys, that's going to be significant. That is going to be a significant break above what is clear resistance as of now. That'll be a significant break above that resistance. And again, I do believe that's going to that's just going to clear a path all the way up to that $11,400, $11,500 zone. But this is a very relevant trend line, guys, and I do believe it is one to kind of keep an eye on for now. All right, zooming in on the daily, guys. Daily is suggesting possible bullish divergence. Now, again, it's not confirmed yet, but I know I pointed this out yesterday. It's showing a little bit of leg. This would suggest possible exhaustion, but again, we have seen that before. How many times have we seen this before, guys, where it does suggest possible exhaustion, does suggest possible bearish divergence, and then Bitcoin just continues up. So just again, this is why I say don't get greedy. At any point in time, Bitcoin could, between now and 11.5, I do think there's a good chance that we have that 35 to 45% correction. Does it have to happen now? No, it doesn't. Would it make sense if it did happen now? Well, yeah. I mean, it would have made sense back here. Bitcoin continues to impress. So yeah, just keep an eye on this, guys. Keep an eye on this. For now, we are showing some leg. Is suggesting a little bit of exhaustion there. Temporarily, the trend is very, very bullish long term. But again, just temporarily does suggest it may want to pull back here. Not saying it's going to, guys. This is not confirmed yet, but it is showing a little bit of leg and is suggesting that that is a possibility. Let's go ahead and check the 4 hour. See if we see anything significant there. Again, showing a little bit of potential for bearish divergence on the 4 hour there as well. Nothing confirmed as of yet. And yeah, the signal line to MACD line is still heading basically straight up, although it does look like it's going to come to a potential area of resistance here in the next little bit. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But for now, for now, guys, for now, the thing looks bullish. I have to say, for now, the thing looks bullish. The only thing that we have to keep an eye on is this clear area of resistance here that we're watching. And I think, as I said before, one of two things is going to happen. We're either going to reject somewhere between its current price point and about 9,950, or we're just going to blow through it. And at that point, the first area I'll be watching for resistance is about that $10,400 area. Now, if we do correct, I'm going to be watching what was resistance to start acting as support. I'm going to want to start seeing this 9,400 start to act as support. When will I start to get concerned? If we do get a 4 hour candle opening and closing below 9,400, I do think it's going to be a fairly quick drop. down to at least 8,800 there, but I wouldn't be surprised to see us drop down and fill that gap on CMEs all the way down to about 8,500. Now, we got a lot of work between here and there. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I just always want to give you kind of targets and things to keep an eye on. We can have a nice pullback here all the way down to 9,400, and I will not get concerned in the least. If we do get a decisive break, by decisive I mean a 4-hour candle both opening and closing below 9,400, that's when I'll start to get concerned. That's when I'll start to look at 8,800 or even 8,500 as likely targets. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things there, guys. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. As always, would appreciate an upvote if you have enjoyed this content. Until next time, guys, please trade safe. Take care of yourselves. This is Workin. Signing out.